Hey everybody, I am getting ready to go into the surgery center to have my wound breakdown surgery. Hopefully when I get in there and pre-op I can actually show you what it looks like. I have people covered for now. It's so deep that my metal plate is exposed, so now it's contaminated. I was actually able to see the metal plate. So I was joking and saying that I can punch somebody and they'll just fly 40 feet because I'm Bionic and I can see it. Anyway, she has to clean it out, completely clean it out because the inside is really nasty, and then she has to put some kind of vacuum on top of it. I don't know how long that has to stay on there. I'll find out when I talk to her. And I have to hold the rest of the vacuum everywhere I go. And it has to suck out everything. So, sorry to gross you out, but that's what's going on, and I have to go because they're letting me go in early. So I will see you in a few. Hey everyone. Well, my surgery for my wound breakdown was February 24th, and it is now March 7th. So I apologize for the huge delay, but that week was very emotional because of everything that I have found out, like almost every day that week. And normally I don't let these things bother me. I'm choosing to do these surgeries, so I don't let it bring me down. But I had one of those feeling sorry for myself weeks, and now pretty much I just have to go with it and see where it takes me. So I will tell you what has happened from the day of surgery to now, and I figured a video, number one, would probably be less boring than a novel if I typed it out, and number two, it would be a novel, and I still don't have feeling in my fingers from the very first surgery on my wrist, which was the wrist fusion. That caused some damage. I don't know if you read that blog entry, but I have numbness in my fingers still and can barely move them at all. And I have that dodgy thumb I spoke of, which needs to be fixed by smoothing the tendon, which we will do when we do the joint replacements on my fingers. But before that, I don't even know when this is going to happen because of everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks. I need to get my ulna fixed, but more importantly, I need to get my carpal worked on, because during the wrist fusion surgery, I guess it's rare, but it can happen, and that's what made me lose feeling in my fingers. So they're pretty much useless. I can grab a pen and try to sign my name, which I've had to do a lot. When I'm doing my makeup, I do it mostly with my left hand, and I'll hold on to, the part that I'm not using with my right hand. I can grip it, I just can't let go of it. I have to physically take it out of my hand with my left hand. Anyway, surgery. We'll start with that. The surgery for my wound breakdown, which I wrote about in my last blog entry. The surgery went fine. I did not do a pre-op or post-op video. Number one, because pre-op was very small, very enclosed, and there were other people in there. I didn't want to, annoy anybody who was waiting to have surgery and probably nervous about it. Two, I was also very nervous about this as well, because I spoke of the wound vac that I would have to have on me, which I will get to. Um, I don't know why my nerves were shot that day. So I was a little doped up on nerve medication and pain medication as well because of my back. Um, uh, and then post-op, again, there was people in there that were too close. I didn't want to annoy them, and I was very tired, in and out, and I was not happy about what has happened and how much this is going to put me behind. As you know, I had a plan of how I was going to do my surgeries. I needed my wrist fusion, my wrist replacement on the other hand, the joint replacement and fusion surgeries on my fingers on both hands, so that was 2 separate surgeries, and I would have been able to do that every 3 months and have them done by October, and then healed enough to use them by the end of the year. And then I was going to start on my shoulders, each shoulder replacement, and I was going to replace my elbow joints, but after speaking to my hand surgeon, she told me I wouldn't be able to lift more than 3 pounds ever again in my life if I did that. So I think I opted out of the elbow joint replacement, which, for lack of a better word, it sucks. I really wanted to replace my elbow joints for a couple reasons. The first and biggest reason is it hurts. They get stiff in the morning. Not as much as before because I went into remission, but with everything going on and not enough money to provide or purchase, I should say, the healthy foods that I need, I'm still on my supplements, which played a big part of putting me into remission. So I'm still taking those. However, those are very expensive as well. But I make sure to have that somehow. Anyway, so I don't, a lot has gone on. I was just very upset. Especially after finding out I can't get my elbows replaced. Because the other reason I wanted to have it done, besides the pain, the clicking, the locking up, I'm sure a lot of you, most of you, know how that feels. But I also was hoping to straighten them out. My elbows do not completely straighten out. That's as far as they go. So I was hoping that would work. But she said that regardless, there's a good chance because of the bone damage that my elbows wouldn't straighten even with a joint replacement surgery anyway. So there is something else she suggested. Can't really remember what it is. It'll be a while before I can get it done anyway now. But there is something that she can do with the cartilage or something in there, at least to reduce or eliminate most of the pain. So I came out of surgery. I was very tired. I was passing out in the car. I don't know why this one I couldn't stay awake for anything. But this was in and out. I was in there pre-op surgery for maybe an hour. I was in there for maybe a total of 4 hours. And that's with pre-op surgery and post-op. So I came home and found out a couple things while I was there. So when I came home, I was I wasn't too happy. So I think I just laid down and went to sleep. And the next day, I tried to do the same thing all day. But my surgeon told me while I was in the hospital about to get my incision or wound fixed, she told me that I would have to keep the wound vac on for about a month. I didn't know what a wound vac was at the time. I just knew that it would basically suck out any fluids. So I will show you that in a minute. Putting that on for a whole month would obviously put me behind on my surgeries. It's March 7th. I was supposed to, if I kept on schedule at my second post-op visit, normally I would have scheduled my next surgery, and it would have been for April, probably the second week in April. And that's not going to happen now. So I found out the wound vac I would have to keep on for a whole month. And I guess before I get to any of the other exciting things that happened that week, I will show you the wound vac. I keep this over it so it doesn't scare my daughter or anybody in public, but I try not to go in public because I have to carry this around with me. You cannot see my wound while this is on. If you can see the black in there, that is not my wound, so don't freak out. That's actually the packing. It's styrofoam, so that's inside the wound. This stays on top, and this very tight and very sticky stuff holds it on there. My doctor calls it turkey wrap. It hurts when we change it to take it off, but it stays on very well. But any kind of leakage, anything in there, comes out, goes through this tube, all the way through the tube. I can close it and unlock it for about 5 minutes so I can change my shirt, and that's about it. Goes all the way here. There's a machine with a handle that I have to carry around with it, and the battery needs to be charged every night, so it's on the charger right now. But it's pretty much, it's a 5-pound bag that I have to carry around with me everywhere I go, considering I'm attached to it. It's very hard to take out, so I will just explain it to you, but there's this little clear part inside. That's where any of the leakage goes, and I have a home health nurse who comes and changes my dressings and my tubing, and she changes that as well. Other than that, I don't really have to do much with it, except make sure it's charged. There are times where you can hear air leaking out of there, and if that happens, then it's not sucking anything up. So we have to put more of the wrapping on it until the nurse comes and can try to fix it, or I see my surgeon and she can fix it. It is actually sucking up a lot more today than I have seen it suck up since I got it, and I'm just noticing it now. That's why I'm a little shocked, but I have seen what it looks like now for the first time since surgery. It actually has some tissue growing on the bottom now. During surgery, she cleaned it all the way out. I mean, completely out. She took a culture the Thursday before. I hadn't had the results from that yet. I got the results 2 days later, and I will tell you what that is. But she cleaned it completely out, so the first time I was able to see it was a few days later, when I went back so she could take a look at it. And she took the vac off, and I mean, it was unbelievable. There's there was two holes in my arm pretty much, and it was so deep that the metal was showing, and that is what caused the contamination. The metal has to be treated as a bone. It would be the same as my bone showing. It didn't bother me to look at it. It grossed a lot of other people out, including my boyfriend. He would barely look at it, but it was crazy. I was able to see so much metal, not just a little bit like before surgery. But again, she cleaned everything out that wasn't supposed to be in there, just the gross stuff that was growing in there. I was even able to see the screws in the metal. So I joked with her and told her, I could see screws in there. I could go get a screwdriver and just take it off myself. But the nurse came. Let's see, my appointment was on a Thursday. The nurse came the Tuesday after and changed my dressings, and tissue had already grown over half of the metal in the big one. And the little one, same thing, about half of that was full. Now the little one, you can't see any metal at all, which I noticed at my last appointment, which was a few days ago. You can't see any metal. Today, when my nurse was here, couldn't see any metal in the bottom one. The top one was still about halfway covered up like it was before, but this enables healing as well. So, like I said, I was really upset because this was going to put me behind at least a month. But then, the next day, all I wanted to do was stay in bed, and I kept getting phone calls, one after another, and finally answered because I remembered my doctor saying the day before that she was going to refer me to an infectious disease specialist to see if I needed IV antibiotics. So I thought, that sounds a little extreme. I didn't have my culture results back at the time either. So the infectious disease office called several times until I answered, and they wanted me to come in immediately. I was in bed and had already taken my sleeping pill, but they wanted me to come in, so I did. And he told me that the next day I would have to go to the hospital and have a PICC line put in me. And I will show you that again in a minute. And he told me that the PICC line was, I didn't know what it was at the time, but it would act as an IV pretty much, like as if you were at the hospital and it was in your arm, so that they can just put the medication right through it, and it was there anytime they needed it. So they were putting one in for 6 weeks. When he said that, that's when I broke down. The wound vax a month, now this is 6 weeks, and then 30 months of oral antibiotics just to make sure. Apparently, I have a staph infection. My doctor reassures me that it's the good staph, so that's a plus. It's not MRSA, it's the good staph that will hopefully heal. We're going through all these extremes hoping to save the hardware. If this doesn't work, we have to take out the metal plate. They didn't say how bad the staph infection was. They just, obviously, it's not great if I have to do this, but he wanted me to go to the hospital first thing in the morning, set me up an appointment. So I went there to have the PICC line put in me, and I was able to watch as they did it. They entered through my arm, and take everything off so I can show you. They entered a little bit closer here. Right here. And I was able, like I said, I was able to see through the x-ray exactly what was going on. So there's a small tube that's going all the way up my arm into my body, and it's kind of doing like an upside down U shape so that it is around my heart and in my bloodstream. And like I said, I have to keep this here for 6 weeks so that I can get IV infusions of antibiotics 3 times a day, every 8 hours. I'm not going to lie to you, I cried because it is not only putting me behind on my regular replacements, which would be my left wrist replacement, which was supposed to be the one in April. Finger joints were after that. First my right hand, then my left hand, and so on. I had a plan. I guess plans don't always work out the way you want them to. However, this is just making me feel like it's going to take a very long time for me to finish all of these surgeries. But I know it'll be worth it. If I have to take the hardware out and start from scratch, I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to just play it by ear and see what happens. But besides the 4.5 months of antibiotics and infusion or oral, before I can even start on my left wrist replacement, we still have to fix other complications. First, my surgeon was trying to think of a way for me to make something go a little bit quicker so that it just make things a little bit easier on me. You know, I have the 3 antibiotic infusions a day. I've got this 5-pound machine I have to carry around with me, which, by the way, I did not tell you. It always makes a little bubbly sound, or a little, you know, just a very light sound. But if you look at the paperwork for the directions and questions and answers, some people said, is it normal for it to make a burping noise? And they said, yes, it makes a burping noise every once in a while. That's completely normal, and that is usually when it is sucking a lot at one time or something like that. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a burping noise that it sounds like. They were just trying to put it lightly, I guess. So it's a little embarrassing walking around with it, which is another reason why I'm not going out of the house too often. I have to go to dinner with my boyfriend for his birthday next week. So obviously I will do that. But I'm wondering how I'm going to explain to the people around me, that's not me, it's my machine. You know, they're not going to believe me, but it just did it. It sounds very real. My nurse made a joke, and it's funny because it sounds like something I would actually do. But she said that when it happens, I should just yell, Andy, I told you not to eat those beans earlier today. He would not find that too funny, but it is something I would normally do. I'm just going to have to see what happens and hope it doesn't make really loud noises while I'm there. But back to what happened, because this is getting pretty long. My surgeon, like I said, was trying to find a way to make things go a little bit easier, maybe a little bit faster, or less of a hassle between the 5-pound vac and the infusions. Nurse is coming, you know, my nurse comes 3 times a week now, once to change the dressing on my PICC line, and to draw blood, to send into the hospital, make sure everything's okay, check my vitals, and then she comes Monday and Friday to change my wound vac dressings and tubing and all that. So I'm back to home health nurses and doctor appointments, and it's something a couple times a week at least, and that's not counting the home health nurse. So she suggested that I see a plastic surgeon. If the plastic surgeon decides to do surgery, it could go one of two ways. He can help the tissue along and put something in there to fill it in, and it's filling in pretty good actually, so I don't think that would be too much of a problem. But if not, he would do a skin graft. The scarring would definitely be a lot better if we did that. The skin graft would cover it up. The surgery wouldn't get rid of the infection, but it would definitely help. I wouldn't have metal showing or contaminating anything, so it would definitely help, and I wouldn't have to carry the wound vac around with me everywhere I go. So I see him on, what is today, Friday? I see him on Wednesday, so of course I will let you all know what happens there. My surgeon said that there's a good chance that he could say the wound vac is doing a good job and just keep it like that, but it just looks really gross the way it's going to heal. It's really bad, and it's not, I mean, my arm would just be disgusting to look at, I think. Who knows? You never know how things will heal, but I guess after thinking about it for a while, plastic surgery might be the best way to go to get rid of just the gross stuff that's there, that's going to be there when everything closes up. So we'll see what he says. So before I can get to my left wrist replacement, I would have to do that, the plastic surgery, if he chooses to do that. Then I would have to do the carpal surgery because I haven't been able to move my fingers since January 15th. I kind of need to be able to do that. I can't do a lot of things with my right hand. I'm brushing my teeth with my left hand now, doing my makeup with my left hand now, which was very surprising to my mom and my surgeon even. She was shocked. So I guess you don't know what you can do until you actually need to and you try it, and you don't have any other choice. But I would have to get the carpal fixed, and then after that, I still haven't fixed the ulna that popped out. She took off part of it, the top of it, to use as a bone graft in the fusion surgery, and the rest of the ulna bone she had put underneath my wrist bone. And when I twisted my wrist, like a week and a half or 2 weeks after surgery, the bone popped out. There is a bump in my wrist. You could see it, and it wouldn't be a problem if it didn't hurt, but it definitely hurts a lot. So if I can hold off until my right finger joints are done, then she'll do it then, because she said it's very easy. Compared to everything else I've done, she said I won't even notice that it was done, pretty much. But now that everything is pushed back for so long, my finger joint replacement's it's gonna be a while before I can do that. So my ulna has to be fixed as well. Once everything is healed, the staph infection is gone, then we can start on the rest of my surgeries. I'm still very bummed because, I mean, this is probably going to take up almost the rest of the year And this year, my fingers and wrists would have been done completely. So I'm still very bummed about it, but I'm trying to stay positive. It'll get done. It's just going to be slower. Hopefully I can keep the hardware. I'm doing home remedies. I drink the apple cider vinegar still that I have written about. 3 shots a day. It's a home remedy for staph infections. I already drink it anyway. So that hopefully is helping. I also take turmeric for an anti-inflammatory every night since I can't take my naproxen because it'll slow down the healing of the bones. So I take that every night in pill form. But turmeric mixed with a couple other things are another home remedy. So maybe the turmeric pills will help as well. Who knows? Next time they do a culture, hopefully it'll show that the infection's going away, gone, better, something. Good news would be great. But as of now, that's what's going on. I will definitely let you know what happens with the plastic surgeon on Wednesday. And who knows, maybe I'll get a quote for something else that I want done. You know, something good can come out of that too. I'm just kidding. I don't have time for anything like that now. But the day after that, I do see my hand surgeon again because she wants to know what happens at the doctor's office or the plastic surgeon's office. I mean, I would think they would converse about it because she refers everybody to him. But I go see her again, so we'll see how it's healing by then too. So I'll try to keep updating more often as much as I can. Like I said, typing is very hard, and doing a video blog for every little video or every little blog entry, I mean, would be a little silly. So I'll try to keep it up a little bit more often so that it doesn't turn into an hour-long video like I just did. So I guess as of now, that's about it. I will hopefully hear something about surgery by Wednesday or Thursday, and I will definitely let you all know what's going on. And I hope you guys are having a great day, better than me. Other than that, I will hopefully be talking to you guys again soon. All right, bye.